Testing, testing, testing. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another one. Hope all is well. Now, on this video, I want to go over the real reason why Coach Prime will win again in the transfer portal because we listened to his press conference and he was talking about there's going to be a lot of big changes to the program. And there were some big changes to the program early on, and then he eventually got it right. And history with Coach Prime often repeats itself. So he's going to be looking at that transfer portal pretty hard in the offseason. And remember, the window only opens up once. Prior, the window opened up twice in the transfer portal, but this time it's only going to open up once. So you're going to see a lot of activity coming soon in the transfer portal. And he also talked about the defense in his press conference. He said he didn't really talk about the offense too much. He was talking about the defense. So he's going to be hitting the transfer portal hard for that defense. And he also said, as far as high school, he's going to get about, I think, 12 to 14 or something like that from the high school ranks. And I know a lot of people that have been going against his coaching style is saying that he needs to hit the high school ranks harder. But the thing is, they want to win right now. They don't want to wait another couple years or 3 years to be in contention. And time will tell if this strategy works. Time will tell. We're gonna have to give it as we're gonna have to look at this in a 5 year span, no, a 5 to 6 year span to see if this strategy actually works. Now, but as far as the immediate impact, he's going to make immediate impact in that transfer portal. And he said a few things. He said it's going to take a few things. It's going to take money. He said when you hit the transfer portal like you want to, it's going to take a lot of money. And but you work with what you have at your disposal. So they have some money, but they don't have Ole Miss money. Okay, they don't have Texas A&M money. They don't have Texas money. They don't have Alabama money. Okay, let's just be clear on that. They do not. They don't have Oregon money. Okay, but they do have some money to where they can go out and acquire some talent. And I'm going to show you in the past that they did get it right. Because a lot of people saying, well, he need to hit the high school ranks. I agree. I think they should hit the high school ranks really hard. And we can't forget something here. They do have an IMG pipeline. Okay, so IMG, they have been known to acquire some of the best talent around the country. So IMG is right there. So they do have that. They do have some recruits coming in from IMG. And thanks to Jordan Seaton and others, because Jordan Seaton is still there. So the foundation for this team is almost reminiscent of the first year team. So we have to go back for a second. There's a lot of reasons why this team is where it is in year 3. Okay. It started with the Louis luggage speech. He rubbed some people the wrong way with the Louis luggage speech, and they shouldn't have taken it that way. He was trying to weed out some people. If you're really a dog and you really who you say you are, you will stay with me and compete. Okay. You would say to yourself, yeah, we only won one game that season, but that's not reflective on me or who I am. I just need some dogs to come in and play with me. That's what he was looking for. But a lot of the players, being that they're young, and they took it the wrong way. And one of those people was Jordan Tyson. He took it the wrong way. That's why Jordan Tyson recently apologized to Coach Prime. He took it the wrong way. And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? There was I'm going to call out some names. Buffton Prime got it wrong. The person from Buffton Prime, whatever his name is, he was lying. He said that a lot of players, including Jordan Tyson, they didn't want. Jordan Tyson found Coach Prime after the last game and went to the locker room with still his uniform on. He went to the locker room to find Coach Prime to apologize. What you said, sir, was incorrect. Listen, Coach listens to everything. He does. He listens, and I know he was happy to share that that moment. because people are sitting up here lying. I don't believe what vloggers say. If you have only people that I listen to that have direct contact with the team, people like Uncle Neely, Bucky, um, Darius, and that's pretty much it. Everybody else, they don't have direct contact with the team. They think they do. They might have a little contact with a few players, but remember, there's multiple sides of the story. There's your story, his story, and the truth. Now we found out what the truth was. And I knew some of it because in year one, what happened was a lot of players got together and said, we're not coming back. We're going to show him, we're going to teach him a lesson. And we're going to purposely not play the spring game. Because remember, in year one, the spring game, they were short in that spring game. That's because a lot of people hit the portal right before the spring game just to say, aha. And guess what? Some of those players made a vlog about it. They said, what are you about to do? Oh, what are you about to do? And they all hit the portal at the same time. A lot of these players, Coach Prime didn't tell to leave. He did not. He did not say, some of them he said, yeah, you got to leave. It's not going to work out. There was a few people that he pulled in the office and said that to, but he didn't say that to everybody that hit that portal. They were feeling a certain type of way about the Louis luggage speech, and they took it the wrong way and they hit the transfer portal. Okay, that's what happened. Okay. It wasn't that he ran people off like Jordan Tyson. They weren't really good at analyzing talent and got rid of Jordan Tyson and told Jordan Tyson to leave. We know now that that's not true. He didn't tell Jordan Tyson to leave. I knew it wasn't true because I saw the players' vlogs. They all made a vlog together when they were training. They said, what are you about to do? What are you about to do? And every last one of them hit the portal. But like I said, again, he didn't tell everybody to hit the portal. Some of the people hit the portal on their own. That's what happened. And guess what happened? So when he was sitting there on his vlog saying how about Jordan Tyson and a few others, well, guess what? He told the story that after the game, Jordan Tyson went to the locker room. He still had his uniform on. He went to the locker room and apologized to Coach Prime for what he did. And he made it right because Jordan Tyson on his way to the NFL. And I know what people saying, well, damn, he let an NFL player go. No, you don't know the whole story. Now we found out the whole story. I'm glad Coach Prime told that because people sitting up here lying. Okay, they're sitting up here lying. And now once I identify one lie, I'm never going to believe you again. Your whole situation has been discredited now. If I found one lie, you don't have to lie about certain things. You don't know Coach Prime like that. The reason why you're getting the views you're getting is because of Coach Prime and Bucky's camera. That's the reason. You know how hard it is to build a YouTube page? Because I have multiple. You know how hard it is? This is easy. You get easy views over here because Colorado, even though they're losing, they're still talked about. They're still talked about. So when I identify one lie from you, that means you lying about everything else. I will never listen to you ever again. Because Jordan Tyson went to the locker room to apologize to Coach Prime. Okay, why do I say all of this? Because of what happened in year one is the reason why we're here in year three. Let me explain. So Coach Prime all often say that the Arizona State coach, they both came in at the same time. They was in the same class, meaning they got hired at the same time. That is true. But the reason why the Arizona State coach is ahead of Coach Prime right now because he didn't have a complete roster overhaul in year one. He didn't have to rebuild from scratch. Okay. Coach Prime damn near had to rebuild from scratch. And that's because some of the players decided they were going to leave. He didn't tell everybody to leave. So what happened was they did have success in the first game in the TCU game. They had success. But then again, then we know now that they only won 4 games the first year. But they hit that they went back and they had a good foundation already because Jimmy Horn was there, even though they were losing Xavier Weaver because Xavier Weaver was only going to be there for 1 year. Okay. And we also have a former player calling these players mercenaries. What backpack did Shedeur have on in the last game? He had the Colorado backpack on, didn't he? That's not a mercenary. He's representing Colorado even in the NFL. He wears the backpack. He could wear his Louis Vuitton backpack. He don't have to wear that Colorado backpack no more. He's not there, but he's still doing it. But yet you're calling these people mercenaries. But anyway, and Shadozi is still there, by the way. But you're calling him a mercenary. And he came back and talked to the team. But I'm going to get into that. The reason why I brought that in there, because that's going to tie into what I'm going to say in a second. So he knew he was losing Xavier Weaver and a few others. So he had to go back into the transfer portal. And when he went back, because he already had the foundation laid, he had Travis there. He had a temporary foundation laid because he had Travis there, he had Shiloh there, he had Shador there, he had a few others there. But the only problem is they only had one more year of eligibility before they was going to the NFL. Well, Travis had two, but we knew that he was leaving after his junior year. We knew Shador was leaving. Okay, so we knew Jimmy Horn was leaving. All these people were leaving together. LeJounte Wester that he acquired in the transfer portal. We knew that they were leaving. So it was a temporary, the foundation was temporary. But yet it still was a foundation though. And that's going to lead to what I'm going to say in a second. So he had the foundation, even though it was temporary. He brought Shadozi in and a few others, and he revamped the team, and they went to a bowl game. Now, albeit they didn't win the bowl game, but they did get to a bowl game. That's more successful. That was more of a success than where he found the team. He found the team. They only won one game. In year two, he took them to a bowl game. That's very successful, whether he win the bowl game or not. Okay. Now, all these people that's sitting up here talking like Matt McChesney, yes, I'm calling names. I am. I don't care about, I'm calling names. I'm very transparent. If I'm talking about you, I'm going to say it to you. I can't say it to his face because I would, but I'm just saying his name now. Matt McChesney, everything was all good when the fans was rushing the field. Remember they had that big, when they had that big win and all the Colorado people rushing the field at Folsom Field, everything was all good back then, huh? So what changed? Just because when things get bad, that's when you find out who people really are. When things get bad, these people were just waiting to hate on them. But everything was all good when the fans was rushing the field because they rushed the field twice. See, a lot of people are having amnesia. They rushed that field twice in Folsom Field. Everything was all good then. Okay, everything was all good. Now you say that these people are a bunch of mercenaries. They don't care about the school and they don't care about the fight song, even though Coach Prime made them learn the fight song. But what did Jimmy Horn used to do every time he made a touchdown? He threw the horns up, didn't he? He sure did. He threw the horns up, but he's a mercenary. He's still repping Colorado to this day, but he's a mercenary. Didn't he come back? Didn't a lot of people come back to see Colorado play? But he's a mercenary. Okay. I'm not done with you yet, sir. I'm not done. I'm going to stay on him because what he said was the only way we're going to get Coach Prime out of here unless we put pressure on him through the media. Well, I'm the media too, and I'm putting pressure on you. So every time you open your flappers, I'm coming. I'm going to be right here to counteract what you're doing. I'm going to counteract what you guys are doing because this is a hit squad. That's what y'all doing. You guys are banding together to try to make Prime look bad so that he will quit. So he will quit so they won't have to pay that money out. But if he get fired, he has to pay that. They have to pay that buyout. And you said it. You said it. You said we don't have to pay him if he quits. He's not going to quit because he's not talking about quitting. He's talking about hitting that transfer portal hard again. That's what he's doing. He told Juju the red shirt because that was a wasted year for you. So we're going to give you your year back. So go ahead and red shirt because we got a plan for you and we're going to bring the pieces in. Don't worry about it. Okay. But how come you guys didn't keep that same energy when the fans was rushing the field at Folsom Field when they won those two big games? How come you guys didn't keep that same energy and say that he's a bad coach? How come you didn't keep the same energy then? I don't like undercover haters. I like a hater like the Jason Whitlock guy. He hates out in the open. I respect that. I respect it because he don't switch up. He's been a hater. You know what I'm saying? He's very how do you say it? He's very I'll say it this way. He's very prolific in his hating because he doesn't hate in the closet. He hates right out in the open. I like people to be out in the open with it. Okay. Now all of a sudden he can't coach now. Now all of a sudden. But your ass, you rushed the field too. I remember, Matt. I remember you rushed the field too, Matt. Your big ass got on the field and started rushing the field. How come you didn't say he was a bad coach then when he came on your show? When he came on your show, when he came on your funky ass show, how come you didn't tell him he was a bad coach to his face? Because you a punk. That's why. That's why you should have did it then. You should have did it then. You should have told him about himself and his coaching style then. But you didn't. Let's see if you be on his show again. Let's see. Let's see. And I heard that he recruited one of your guys finally. I heard that. I heard that. But see, I'm pointing out that these people are fake. How come they didn't say he was yeah, they did mention some stuff about they did question some of his um substitutions last year. They did, I mean the first year. They did question it, but it wasn't a barrage of hate like it is now. And here they go. Well, we're just critiquing him. How is that hate? No, it was hate because you say he's a narcissist. Matt, I'm talking to Matt. You say he was a narcissist, so you made it personal. You called him a name. So now you made it personal. Okay. If you're so good as a coach, why don't you go up there and help if you're so good? So anyway, let me get back to this. So there is indications that history is gonna repeat itself at Colorado again because he do have a foundation. Okay. This time his foundation, he has a quarterback that's gonna be there for the next 3 years. That's the difference this time. And he do have some young wide receivers there, like Joseph Williams and a few others that are really good. They're really good. They're like pro potential good. Okay. Now I can show you right here that he got it right. That he got it right the second year. Let me show you a few players. Obviously, he got the transfer portal right with Jimmy Horn. Got R.J. Johnson there. You see how the Dre line came from high school. But let me here's one thing. He did get it right with Colton Hood, but he couldn't keep him though. And I don't know why I don't know why Colton Hood left. Remember, Colton Hood previous school was Auburn. His previous school was Auburn. So hold on, let me stop right there. So Matt saying we're picking up people in the transfer portal that ain't worth nothing. Well, we picked up Colton Hood in the transfer portal, but the problem was we couldn't keep Colton Hood. So they got to identify why they couldn't keep him and then change that. They're going to have to figure out how did Colton Hood leave, and then they're going to have to figure out maybe change their strategy so they can keep a kid like Colton Hood the next time. But Colton Hood wasn't nobody's has-beens. Why? Because he's headed to the NFL now. So when Matt said that we're picking up mercenaries and people, the people that they don't want, no, Colton Hood was somebody that somebody wanted. Okay, we identified that now because he's headed to the NFL. Okay, so that's one. Colton Hood, we got it right with Colton Hood, but the only problem is we didn't keep him. So they have to identify why did he leave? What was the reason why did he leave? Why did he leave? Why did he leave the school and go to Tennessee? So that was a situation right there with Colorado. They got to figure out how they can keep somebody that they acquired from the transfer portal. They have to keep them too. When Colton Hood came here, he was a redshirt freshman. When he came to Colorado, and he ended up leaving. Now I know what people like Matt is saying. Well, how come if he's so good, how come he didn't play at Auburn? Guys, he's headed to the NFL now. Okay. Sometime it take a player a couple years or a few years to get to where he's going. He's headed to the NFL now. He's damn near a finalist for the what do you call it? The Thorpe Award, which means he's one of college football's best cornerbacks. Okay. And we got him from the transfer portal. But again, the problem is we couldn't keep him. That's the problem. So we got it right with Colton Hood. I'm just going to point out a few other people. We also got it right with Dallin Hayden. He came from the transfer portal, didn't he? Oh, he's somebody that nobody wanted? Well, Dallin Hayden is a really good running back. And we got him from Ohio State. So that was a very good pickup in the transfer portal. I'm not counting Cameron Silman Craig or a few others. I'm pointing out just some people that I want to point out right now. We got Will Shepherd from the transfer portal, didn't we? How did that work out? That was a very good pickup from the transfer portal. It sure was. It sure was. I'm only going to pin it. Levonta Bentley was a good pickup from the transfer portal, wasn't it? So don't sit here and say he didn't win in the transfer portal, because he did. He did win in the transfer portal. I'm only just pointing out a few people. Now, he did win in the transfer portal with Jalen Wester, but we couldn't keep Jalen Wester. So we got to identify why we lost Jalen Wester. Now, Coach Prime said it's a statistical thing. You're going to lose some people in the transfer portal. That's just the nature of the transfer portal, okay? Because some people offer people more money, whatever the case is. But there's no beef there with Jalen Wester, by the way. Still cool with him. Keaton Wade. That was a very good pickup in the transfer portal. He's headed to the NFL now. Well, okay. So that was a very good pickup in the transfer portal, wasn't it? BJ Green was a good pickup in the transfer portal, wasn't it? He's now in the NFL. Very good pickup in the transfer portal. Very good pickup. That wasn't a mercenary. Very good pickup in the transfer portal now. Nikhai Hill-Green, very good pickup in the transfer portal. He's at Alabama now. Now, I'm not sure why he left Alabama, because the dude, he don't lie about what's his name. So he probably lying about Nikhai Hill-Green too. He probably lying about that too. So I don't believe him on that. I don't have to go on here. I don't have to go on. I don't have to go on about now Arden Walker we came out of the transfer portal, didn't, even though he was at Colorado the first time, he went to another school, but he came back to Colorado and then he's off to the NFL. So that was a very good acquirement from the transfer portal, wasn't it? It sure was. Now, what is my point here? My point is he's going to go get the people again from the transfer portal. As long as you know exactly what you're looking for and you go in and get it, he's going to get it. Okay? He's going to get it. But the thing is, you got to have a certain amount of money too. But based on what he had at his disposal, he was able to acquire some NFL people. That's not up for debate. It's a fact now. Jimmy Horn is in the NFL. LeJontay Wester's in the NFL. And he got both of them from the transfer portal. They're in the NFL. Okay? And not only are they in the NFL, they're playing in the NFL. So when you say you're getting a bunch of mercenaries and stuff from the NFL, you're incorrect. Shedeur is no mercenary. Shedeur is still wearing the Colorado backpack in the NFL games. But I know you don't care about that. But see, I'm identifying the lies these people are telling. Yes, you can get talent from the transfer portal. You just got to get the people that's hungry. LeJontay Wester was hungry. Jimmy Horn had a why. He was hungry. Okay? You got to get the people that's hungry. And you're going to be fine. Chidozie, okay, let me ask you this. Is Chidozie a mercenary? Didn't he come back and talk to the team? Doesn't his girlfriend play soccer on the team? Doesn't his girlfriend play soccer on the team? Yes or no? Don't she play for Colorado? Yes. And he's still there. He's not a mercenary, sir. So these people, they've been lying throughout history. So they lie. That's how deceitful these people are. They're liars. I'm talking about the haters. They're liars. and deceit and deceivers. But I am their kryptonite. I'm the kryptonite. Okay. I am your kryptonite. I'm pointing out your lies. These are not mercenaries that he acquired. LeJounte wasn't a mercenary. He's an NFL player now. And he got drafted. Jimmy Horn got drafted. Um, Xavier Weaver is in the NFL. So he's getting people to the NFL. It's just that he's going to have to go out and find the talent again, which he is going to do. He's going to go out. He's going to identify the needs that they need. They have needs on that defense, and he's going to go correct it. All you need is the people that's hungry. You need people. This is what they need. They need people that's thinking NFL. That's what they need to go get. They don't need to go get the lazy ones. They need somebody that's thinking NFL. Okay. Um, I don't know who he sat on the bench this season, this whole season. Now it's a reason why he sat the bench the whole season, but we don't know. Do you know? We don't know. We weren't there. Let me tell you something. They need to go out getting people that's hungry. Jimmy Horn was hungry. Okay. Jimmy Horn was hungry. He gave it everything he had in practice. He was hungry. Okay. But was he really good? Why did he sit the bench though? Why did he sit the bench? There's a reason. There has to be a reason why he sat the bench. Okay, here's the thing. Jimmy Horn didn't sit the bench. Okay. So he was hungry. You said now he's playing like an All-American at FIU. I know. See, here's the thing about this. Let me just say this. Let me finish this. So Jimmy Horn didn't sit the bench. LeJounte Wester didn't sit the bench. So why is certain people sitting the bench there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's what they also have to identify. Is there maybe do you guys need to change your strategy on why certain people are like leaving and they all Americans? I don't know. That's an internal issue they got to fix. Or maybe it's not an issue. Maybe some people don't gel with your system. Maybe some people don't like your coaching. Everybody don't like old school coaching. Everybody don't. It could have been that situation, but we don't know. I'm not listening to Buffton Prime because he's not there. He's not there. He's not there. When he went on Matt McChesney, when he got on Matt McChesney's show, I already knew what was going on. Hold on a second. So, like I said, I don't listen to people. I only listen to people that's affiliated with the team. And like I said, I don't want to know like the ins and outs of the dirty part of the team. I don't want to know all that. That's internal stuff. That's internal stuff. I don't want to know all of that, man. Like I'm here to root for the team with whoever they got on the field. I'm here to root for. I'm not trying to hear all the messy stuff, man. That's some internal stuff for the team. You know what I'm saying? Even if I knew the internal stuff, I wouldn't even tell you. I wouldn't even tell you, man. So all this is an indication that he's going to get it right. He got all these players from the transfer portal, and a lot of them are in the NFL right now. So, like every time you point out a player that sat the bench and now he's All American, I'm gonna point out a player that didn't sit the bench and he's in the NFL. BJ Green didn't sit the bench. He's in the NFL. Okay. Cameron Silman Craig didn't sit the bench. He's in the NFL. And now he's just been upgraded to the active roster spot. Okay. LeJounte Wester didn't sit the bench. He's in the NFL, Baltimore Ravens. So maybe they had an attitude problem when they were there. I'm not going to play somebody that got an attitude problem and being disrespectful. Maybe they were being disrespectful. We don't know. Because I'm going to tell you right now, once you disrespectful with that coach, he's not playing you. Period. I could see that. He's not going to play you. But I'm glad that he went on to FIU and then playing like an All American. That's good. Sometimes things don't work out in certain environments. That's all it is. It don't mean that he's a bad coach. It means that just the kid didn't work out in that environment, just like Kermani McLean. Kermani McLean is eventually going to get his name going to get called on draft day eventually. His name's going to get called. He's that dominant. His name is going to get called by Roger Goodell. But he grew into that. He grew into where he is now. He always had the talent, but he grew into it. He even got bigger. He even tackled different now because he's gotten bigger. It just takes a while. Some people are more mature than others. They just take a while. Like, you got to understand, these are kids, man. So that's what I want to say right there, man. I'm too real for this right here, man. Like, people believe bullshit, and I'm not for it. I'm not for the BS, man. But I just wanted to say that um, history has proven that he has won in a transfer portal in the past. He'll do it again. And but these people are going to continue to talk bad about him as long as he's at Colorado. I'm telling you, they're trying to run him out of there. My only suggestion to Coach Prime and him is don't listen to these people. Just ignore them. Act like they're not there. That's my only suggestion. As long as the school is good with you, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Um, so that's pretty much it. Their opinion is worthless. At the end of the day, it's worthless. Because again, have you ever been at a job before and it didn't work out? It's not that the job was bad, you just didn't like it. You didn't like the environment or anything, but you went to a job similar to that and you thrived in that job. It's the same with football. Sometimes an environment just don't work out for a kid. But it doesn't mean that the coaches are bad. So, but anyway, we live in a situation where people like the bullshit sells. Like if I had put some drama in the title, then people would have been all for that. We live in that situation now, but I'm not for that. Um, so that's what I wanted to say there. But yeah, history will repeat itself. You wait and see. Peace.